What's going on, guys and girl cubs? Looking at you, Thomas. And gals. Part 3 of the Iraq Chronicles. My name's Walter Cronkite. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about the day-to-day life operations of your typical infantryman. Well, our case, not typical. We got screwed into doing convoy security missions. So, I'm going to tell you what our day-to-day was like. And it may not sound that eventful, but believe me, you're right. So, get up. We slept in cans, right? We called them cans. Chews. I don't know why I called them chews. I don't know if it was a brand name of the big kind of like living thing. But it was generally like 3 separate units to, they were basically, if you look at it, if you ever seen a Connex, they're like divided up into 3 separate rooms. And we generally only had like 2 people per room, just with our numbers that we had. They did have 2 sets of bunk beds in them though. So sweet. So you had a bunk to store all your shit on, your daily use or regular use stuff on, right? Then you had a little wall locker, you had an air conditioner, and you could get your hands on TVs and stuff. That was generally done just by whoever was in the room before you. It would be like, hey, do you want to buy this TV for like $20? And you'd be like, yep. And they'd be like, cool. See ya. I'm going back to the States. And then you use it for your deployment there. And the next person who comes along, you're like, hey, do you want to buy this TV for like $20? And they're like, sure. You get what I'm saying? It's like you're just kind of passing it on, and everybody except the first person is making their money back, right? Good times. So we had a couple TVs in our rooms because 2 people, 2 TVs. To which we would we found out that you could hook an Xbox 360 and the original Xbox up. Play co-op Halo 2. Let me just say, we got our fucking hands on 8 controllers total, and we would have some epic split screen battles going on there. Good times. Low man out, low man switches out. Anybody know what couch co-op is anymore? Everybody just plays online. Those were the good old days. But I digress. So yeah. Get up in the morning, go down to the motor pool. Basically, every morning. Work on your vehicles. Get them squared away. Make sure, they're clean. Make sure they're in working order. Make sure you got ammo. You got fluids. You got all the shit you need. Because you're most likely going on mission the next day, right? And the way we generally did our missions, we would always leave pretty early in the morning. So we'd go, hit the rack, go to sleep, get up early, get down to the motor pool with all our shit, all our weapons. We started being able to keep our crew-served weapons in our motor pool because our vehicles were locked up. And then we always had people down in the motor pool, and people generally didn't come into your motor pool. You didn't really go into other people's areas, unless you were invited. But you'd go down to the motor pool with all your shit, your personal weapons, your body armor, your packs, whatever you thought you were going to need for, depending on the length of your mission that you were going on for that amount of time. Get down there in the morning, get your vehicle, and everybody would head out to the staging area. And once you got down to the staging area, generally, the KBR guys who we transported or escorted the most, they would be down there lined up. And the staging area is just a bunch of really long lanes, all staged next to each other. So we would get our gun trucks all lined up, right? And I should probably rewind a second. We would have convoy briefings the day before. and they would get their head, like their team leaders for whatever unit we were escorting to wherever. They'd come down there, and we'd tell them the running order of the vehicles. So it'd be gun truck 1, 2, and then X amount of supply vehicles. Gun truck 3 would generally be the squad leader's truck, X amount of vehicles. Gun truck 4, X amount of vehicles, and then the tail vehicle. Then you adjust it accordingly depending on how many people you had to take to wherever you had to take them to. Right, so they would get down there, they'd get set up in their lanes, and they would basically set up in their groups of however many vehicles in each lane. So, whenever the first 2 gun trucks pulled out, then that group of... We'll just use KBR for this example. That was the civilian contractors who drove the Mad Max looking semi trucks. They were sweet. That first lane would fall out and follow the 2 gun trucks. And then the third gun truck would slide in, and then the next lane would fall out. And it got so much easier as time progressed. Once they understood what we wanted, KBR guys were the best at it. Military supply truckers and shit generally weren't as receptive to what we wanted, but it all worked out in the end, right? So you get staged up. Staging area, though, you hang out there for a good few hours, just hanging out, bullshitting, waiting, just shooting the shit. People smoking cigarettes, people playing hacky sack, people checking their vehicles. You're double checking them, making sure they're good to go, making sure everything's good to go. Also, rewinding for a sec. Generally, sometime that day before, we would drive down to the weapons testing area, and we'd live fire our weapons just to make sure they were good to go. Right, so once your convoy is all staged up, ready to go, you get out to the gate, you line up, and wait. There's always, you gotta tell people where you're going. That's a whole nother end. You gotta go up to, I can't even remember what it's called now, but basically the transportation people that were in charge of knowing where everyone and everything was going, what time they were leaving, and this and that. So you'd check in, they'd clear you, you'd go down, you'd get your people ready, you'd roll out. Once you rolled outside the gate, you went weapons ready to rock, right? Round in the chamber, weapons on safe, good to go, good times. Then you go on your mission. Depending where you went, they were all the same. Pretty much the way we ran them. And like I said, the more time we worked with the same people, the easier it got to do. But, you run your mission, you get there, wherever you're going, you'd park your vehicles at the, you'd fuel them up and then park them at the, basically a parking area near wherever. All the different bases around there would have transient housing. Transient just meaning somebody who's just passing through for a short time and then going out. So people are constantly coming and going, and it was just basically like tents with cots or buildings with bunk beds. And you'd basically get there and you'd be done. All the KBR guys, they would have to go dump their loads for lack of a better term, get rid of all their shit, and a lot of times they were bringing shit back too, so it'd be bringing shit there, bringing shit back, and then they would end up basically just they had their own situation, their own housing and stuff, so they would go take care of their business, and they would be where they needed to be for us to roll out the next morning, because that was generally always the case, right? We'd get in that afternoon, we'd get our vehicles squared away, park them, and then we'd go find a chow hall. We'd get our shit in our bunks for the night, and we just wander around. And this was cool because a lot of times you get to go to places that have like different fast foods or movie theaters or fucking sweet ass PXs that had like actual new movies and new TV shows that you could buy on DVD because it was DVD back then. And that was cool. So basically you just go spend some money, right? And wander around, see the sights. Because a lot of the places in Baghdad, like, they took over a lot of Saddam's palaces and shit. So you just go, like, check them out, see what's what. Cool times. Great times. Anyways, the next morning, you'd all meet in the staging area. Your KBR trucks would be there, and you'd line up the same way, and you'd do the same thing over and start heading back. And you'd be, refueled. You'd have, more food, more snacks. Always got to have snacks. Honey buns, the devil's food. I eat so many honey buns that I fucking can't eat them anymore. I'm just disgusted by them. Honey buns and beef jerky. Oh my god. Thank you everyone and anyone who ever sent care packages over to us, but everybody sends beef jerky, and a human being can only eat so much beef jerky every day for a year straight. Well, 13 months technically. But it was good. And that was day-to-day fucking shit, right? We kind of did PT on our own. We'd have occasional times where we would get together in groups and do it, but it was more just, on your own accord. But then when you were back on back on inside the wire, as they say, inside the wire, and outside the wire is when you're on mission, barbed wire, concertina wire. You'd get back, you'd go to the chow hall, do whatever, hit the PX, hit the gym, whatever. Clean your shit up, clean your weapons. Basic maintenance, making sure, basically everything you're doing, as long as you're making sure all your stuff is ready to go for the next mission, then your free time is your free time. And it's pretty sweet. Pretty simple, too, really, when it comes down to it. I remember we were there for Christmas of 2006, and First Sergeant and Hanford, I should say. It sounded like I said First Sergeant Hanford, but they were walking around handing out like tube socks and like just random like little bottles of shampoo, toothpaste, whatever. I think I got a pair of socks and a Victoria's Secret catalog. Now, I'm not going to say that I combined the two in some way, shape, or form, but that was a pretty sweet Christmas present in 2006. Ain't going to lie. But yeah, as far as like I said, our off time when we weren't on mission, we were back inside the wire. You just hang out with your people, do whatever, hit the MWR up, make phone calls home occasionally. Most everybody had some sort of gaming system. 360 was what came out right before we deployed, so a lot of people had those. So you'd just like get video games, play them, and then trade them with somebody else to play their game. And like I said, that's when we discovered the whole Halo 2 system link that we could do between my roommate's original Xbox and my 360. We both had TVs, and we were playing 8-player split screen, 4 players a screen. Good times. Now, I'm not going to say I reigned supreme, but I fucking reigned supreme. Hill, what's up? Durante, he tried to challenge me one-on-one. He's like, I hear you're good at playing Halo. I'm pretty good, too. I said, all right. That was a tough match, though. But yeah, good times. That's day-to-day life, man. It was just weird, like random. You did whatever. Sometimes you would have ranges there, and we'd go out and do training, right around our base that we were working out of. But a lot of the times we were just on the road, going from A to B, or A to B and C, back to A. It just depended on the day and depended on the mission. We were on the road a lot because that was our mission. So yeah, I guess it's not very exciting, really, when it comes down to it. Some of the shit you see on the road, though, that's another story. That we will leave till part 4. There's a thumb there. 4. Part 4. We will talk about weird and fun and entertaining shit seen while out on mission. Thanks for watching, everybody. As always, question, comments, and concerns below. They're always below. They're always down in the nethers. And y'all have been doing a good job of locating them and typing in them. It tickles when you type in them. But thanks for watching. Likes, let me know. Dislikes, let me know. Suggestions, let me know, yo. This is a loving place. We're here to hug and tell you everything is going to be alright in this beautiful world that we're living in. Yeah, real beautiful if you look at what the fuck's been happening lately. Some people's children. Anyways, like I love to say, Sakitsa.